Steve Dotto here. How the heck are you this fine day? Me? I find myself in need of a haircut, but I'm just too busy. So forgive the rather disheveled look. Today on growing your YouTube channel to 100,000 subscribers, we're going to talk business, we're going to talk community, and we're going to talk about why and how I chose my new CRM. A couple of months ago, I opened a bit of a can of worms in this vlog by talking about the fact that I was going to be upgrading my customer relationship management system and stepping kind of into the intermediate space of purchasing a fairly high-end product, at least what I consider to be fairly high-end. Talking InfusionSoft, Ontraport. You might think there are certainly systems that are much higher end, but for a solopreneur, it's a fairly high-end product. Big decision, huge decision, actually, business-wise, because when you purchase one of these systems, you basically break down your entire business process and then rebuild it in that system. So it's not a small commitment and step. And it's one that I took very seriously, did a lot of research on, and finally came to the determination I bought InfusionSoft. People have been asking why, how I went through that process, and what the story is. So that's going to be the topic today in this installment of growing your YouTube channel to 100,000 subscribers. InfusionSoft, why I chose it, on Dotto Tech. Before I dive into my new CRM, this particular vlog, growing your YouTube channel to 100,000 subscribers, is brought to you ad-free. You might notice there's no advertisement anywhere on the screen. That's because it's brought to you by you, my community at Patreon. Patreon is a community, is a crowdfunding site that basically looks at content like mine, like our content here, and the community that enjoys it and consumes it chooses to support that content creator. And we've got a wonderful Patreon community that's growing and growing, and this is one of the benefits of the Patreon community, that this product I can bring to you without any AdSense revenue, without any ads at all. So thanks, and a big shout out to our folks at Patreon. You should check them out if you aren't a Patreon member. Let's talk about the business process that Dotto Tech has been going through. If I go back nearly 2 years now, I determined that I was going to start looking at YouTube and see if I could build a business based on YouTube, if I could recreate at least some of the success that I'd had in television and find a way to recreate that in YouTube space. And so basically, I went into starting a new business without knowing how I was going to make money. Probably not the best way to start a business if you stop and think about it. But the opportunity that YouTube represents is unique, and we basically are reinventing or inventing new ways to do things as we go. There's some tried and true methods of making revenue online, some of which I was comfortable with, some of which I probably didn't really want to participate in too much. So there was lots of questions, but lots of opportunity as I started down this path. So the whole journey that we're on, the whole purpose of this vlog is to talk about how we physically go about, or how we strategically go about growing a community on YouTube. And the number 100,000 is a completely arbitrary number, but how we grow a community and how we then leverage that community into a business, how we turn that community, how we take the subscribers to that channel and turn them into a business. So for me, it's been concentrating an awful lot on building the base, building the community, getting people to subscribe, learning what it takes in the content side to create subscribers and viewers, and to create to turn this channel into an event. I've done a pretty good job of building. We're somewhat north of 50,000 subscribers, and so now that continues to grow. But now I'm concentrating on the business side. How am I going to actually make money from this? And I've talked in the past about several different pillars of revenue. The first being advertising revenue, which you don't see in this particular video, but our AdSense revenue, just ads that run, being a YouTube partner, is starting to generate some fairly significant income. The Patreon, what I spoke about a few moments ago, is another fairly significant income source. And now I'm selling information products. I've started to sell courses, which is a third good revenue source, and I've still got my speaking business. So we're starting to now see the business side of it growing. One of the things that I didn't really count on was how much personal contact I would need with the community. I thought naively as I started that the social space, just talking with people online and that sort of stuff, was probably going to carry the day as far as my interaction with the audience. It's not that I didn't want to interact with the audience. It's just I thought that was probably going to be good enough. But then I started to sell products. And I woke up one morning and I said, wait a minute, I've got 200 customers. That's how many people had bought the course at that point there. And all I've got on them is an email address and the fact that they're on a mail list now receiving this course content. I know nothing about them. And I realized right then and there that I had not really paid very close attention to one part of the business, which is the customer relationship management side. I was doing it in Aweber, and it's just not appropriate. It's just not good enough. So now my community, I have all the people that are watching my videos, but the ones that are interacting with me, the ones that are subscribed to the newsletter and are actually participating in webinars and perhaps actually buying products, I need a better system for communicating with them and servicing them as a customer. Because that's what they are now, as customers, not just viewers. So I started to search. And the products that I looked most closely at were threefold. There was Aweber. I'm sorry, Aweber. I was coming from Aweber. There was Entreport. There was InfusionSoft, and there was one called Green Rope. Now, Green Rope fell off the table fairly early on just because they're small. And it's not that I have anything against small, but they're only about 12 or 14 or maybe 29 people. I don't know, but they're a fraction the size of the other players in the game. And that just to me, this is my business. It was gonna cost me a significant amount of money each month. You're looking at a minimum of about $300 per month for software of this caliber. So I was going to be investing what I considered to be fairly significant dollars, and so I wanted to make sure that I had a really solid organization behind me. They've got a great product. I think that they're going to be fine. They are a good choice. They just weren't going to be my choice. So it came down to the big two, which is Entreport and InfusionSoft. And InfusionSoft is quite a bit larger and a little bit more established. They both have a reputation for being somewhat difficult to use just because of the complexity of the task itself. But Entreport probably has the benefit of being considered to be a little bit easier to use. Now, they both cost about the same, and really, there's very little to choose between how they deliver their content or how they deliver their services. I decided very early on that no choice was going to be the wrong choice, that the responsibility for making the system work was going to be on me, that both platforms technically were going to be able to do everything and anything that I could possibly want to do, and it was just how much I mastered them and how I, in my overall business acumen, that was going to determine the success. So I didn't really feel like I was going to make a wrong decision. So right away that pressure was taken off. I knew that that regardless which one I chose, that we were going to have some success. I did spend some time, and I did spend some time in the Facebook user groups of both communities, looking at what users had to say. I figured that was probably my best, rather than looking at reviews online, which are so often just tied to affiliate accounts. I think InfusionSoft is great. Click on this link here to buy it, and then I get paid. I think Entreport is great. Click on this link, and then I get paid. So those I took with the grain of salt and not much value. But the comments that were happening in the Facebook communities were very telling. And it ended up being one strike against Entreport at that point there, because they were having some outages, and there was a few emails that weren't going out on time that it sounded like it was not just an isolated instance. And that sort of thing really scares me, because if you're managing a system like ours where I have webinars coming out of it and they're often timed, I need to know that my delivery is when I'm expecting it and on time and really robust. So that was a strike. It wasn't a killing blow, but it was definitely a strike against Entreport. Entreport is smaller, and they're still going through a little bit of teething pains as far as they've just come up with a whole new revision of their software. So that didn't end up being a negative as far as I was concerned, the fact that they had some of the teething pains. So I was looking at the technical issues that they're having, and I realized some of those were just new revisions of the software coming out. So what did it come down to? I hate to be so mundane, but it came down to the value that they offered at the end of the day, the pricing. And it's a little bit confusing working through the pricing. Each of them are going to cost for what I was looking for, which is the basic online marketing toolkit. Most of the business that I'm going to be using Entreport or InfusionSoft for is going to be focused on building my mail list and managing that mail list, but knowing who's coming on and when they're coming on and what activities they've been doing with me. tremendously important intelligence. I will be using their e-commerce engine as I move downstream to sell my products out. And Infusionsoft's a little bit more robust in that space there. But they, for that package, it's about $300 per month on both platforms. Where they differ is Infusionsoft charges $2,000, which was actually a huge mouthful for me to say, and a concern, saying $2,000 just to set it up. But most people require a lot of hand-holding in the setup process, and they know that they are going to be spending a lot of cycles and time on that person, so that's why they charge that fee. Entreport, on the other hand, I think is a fraction of that. It's maybe $400, or it might even be free. I don't know. But what I discovered from talking to Entreport users is that, maybe it was 4 hours of consultation, is they got through that, and very quickly they were being then directed to specialists who would charge them to finish their implementation. Because I think it's folly to think that in 4 hours with either system you're going to be set up properly. So you've got to, if you don't have the technical capacity yourself, you're going to be spending money one way or the other. So that $2,000, that enrollment is, I think, a little bit of not an issue. As you're evaluating both pieces of software, looking at them, I would park that and not really worry about it too much. Adding to that, depending on when you buy the different software packages, they actually have sales. This is what surprised me, is they actually sharpened their pencil on on my package, and I'm paying less and getting more than is on the rack rate. So be sure to ask for that, regardless which package you choose to buy. Get them to sharpen the pencil a little bit. I think they will. And another thing that Infusionsoft did is they locked me in on a price so that I know I'm going to be paying that for all time. So it's a very comfortable number as far as I'm concerned. Less than I thought I was going to be paying. I won't get into the details and specifics, but the biggest thing was they reduced the price of the enrollment, saved a little bit of money there. They reduced the monthly price, saved a little bit of money there, and they increased the number of contacts that I could have right out of the gate, which was huge for me because I'm not coming in as an immature social media marketer. Even though I've only been doing it for a couple of years, here's my Infusion. This is how many names that I imported from my other email services. Just about 12,000 names on my list. So right away I was over their 5,000 basic package. So you can negotiate a little bit, and that is good to know. I really can't give you any more, input. I would be just as happy, I think, if I'd chosen Entreport, and I am happy with Infusionsoft. I'm not attaching any affiliate stuff to this. At some point down the road, I will probably try and make a little bit of money back from educating people on it. But for now, I just want to make sure that you understand that it was that both are good choices. But let's talk now about how I'm using it and what that enrollment process is. This is going to be a little bit of a long email, and I certainly understand if people aren't going to watch it as long. But that was the decision-making process getting into it. Now let's talk about how we set up and what we have to go through and the steps that you're going to have to go through in setting up, regardless of which package you purchase. Because you're going to be coming from something. You're going to be coming from MailChimp or coming from Aweber or coming from Constant Contact. You've probably got a system set up that you've already outgrown. So let's talk about what happens there. So with this company here, they had a series of webinars that they offered me that they invited me into, which just took me into this control panel here and into the homepage and talked me through the different systems. And it doesn't take very long to learn. You know, Infusionsoft has a kind of a pet name out there called Confusionsoft. People say it's so confusing. And they make a little bit of fun of this software because they say it's confusing. Well, I take a little exception to that. I don't think the software is particularly confusing. I think it's incredibly powerful. And as a powerful tool, it's got certain theories that it works on. It's got ways of doing things and business processes. You have to learn what those are, and then it's not confusing. Then it starts to make sense. At the beginning, I poked and prodded and clicked on things and couldn't quite figure out exactly where to do things. But as soon as you sign up, you've always got this available to you right here, which is support chat online. So during business hours, you click on this and you're instantly into a chat room with a support technician who helps you through things. So the process was I watched the webinars. I started to play with the software myself, just started to poke around, but then I had one-on-one consultations, and you have a series of one-on-one consultations with the person that basically enrolls you and gets you all started out. And they walk you through and help you build your first campaigns. campaigns are the key to anything in Infusionsoft. And now I'm going to depart from my knowledge of Entreport because I don't know what happens after this with Entreport. But with Infusionsoft, it's all based on something called campaigns. So we build sequences that happen, that are logical sequences, and they're all gated with if this happens, then that can happen, or when this happens, then that should happen. So it's very straightforward as far as that's concerned. So the person sat down with, we got together on a webinar or on an interactive call, and we walked through the different stages that we were going to be doing as far as setting the system up. And we set up a task list for me to do before my next call. So basically, it was almost like a coaching call where they answered my questions. I had a whole list of questions, whole series of questions I'd already done, and I already played with a lot of different aspects of the software. So I encourage people to do that. I think that's a good idea before your first call. I already had a bit of idea on the philosophy. I'd taken the enrollment webinar. I had watched as many videos as I could online. And so then she gave me a whole series of other resources, gave me other videos to watch, and started me on the process. So let me just show you. So there, at any rate, I wanted to show you the fact that there's always chat available and support available to you. So it's called the Campaign Builder. This is the heart of my installment of Infusionsoft. All of those contacts there, very important. I had to learn as I went into the campaigns how we get new subscribers into Infusionsoft. Not talking about migrating people in that I already had. That's just a one-time process that we do. But once you have people in, so once you're in your business process, how do you get people subscribing and enrolling and build your mail list, basically, and then how do you send out to them? That's the keys. So let me just show you. I'm going to open it, and it might look... I'm a little reticent, actually, to show you this because it might look super busy to you, and it might look a little bit confusing, but it's actually not. This is the basic opt-in sequence for my website. And what Infusionsoft has in this campaign builder is they give us a graphical representation of our management process for our email and our contacts. It's actually pretty cool. And so there's two different tabs here. There's one which we click when we edit it as we're actually building it, and this one here actually monitors its performance. So if we take a look right here, it says 8 unique contacts. This is actually my email capture system. I should show you what it looks like in practice. So what I had to do was on my website here at Dotto Tech, let me just go to it quickly. So I've got a couple of places that people can come on. Right here on my homepage is an opt-in form. So if you fill this in here and click submit, your name is then put on my mail list. Now this used to point to an Aweber opt-in form, but now it points to the Infusionsoft one, and I'll show you the Infusionsoft side of that in a moment. Additionally, in every video that I produce, in every blog post that I create, I've got an opt-in form here. So if you just come here, I invite people to sign up for the newsletter here. So this is ongoing activities which on a daily basis bring in a few people a day and continue to build my mail list. So that's it in practice here. This is it in Infusionsoft. So what I've got is I've got the website. Now this is just a placeholder to tell me where it's coming from. So there is this form here that we see right here is actually this form here that I've placed on my WordPress page. Makes sense? And this form here, it's saying blog. This is actually the one that is here in the blog post itself. So those represent those two assets on my website. So if I go into the editing mode here, what happens is you create something called a website sign up. So this is basically a you create something called a web form. Here are the things that we can create. So do you see how this graphically represents what's happening on the screen? And it's kind of almost like an electrical diagram of a current going through different gates and different capacitors. And it's being slowed down here, and it's being, the voltage is being changed there, and a switch is being changed there. It's just like that. Now that might not seem, oh, gee, Steve, you said it's really easy. It is easy because the process that we're doing is complex. We've got a series of things that have to happen. This is a simple way of describing that we can get our head around. So you can learn this quickly. And once you've learned this, it all starts to make sense. And you can look at it and you can see bottlenecks and you can see opportunities and you can see new ways of doing things. So here is that website sign up form. And if I wanted to add a new website sign up form, I go here into the goals and I just drag it out onto the screen and drop it, and then I can start attaching things to it. But that's the beginning of the process of building one of these campaigns. So if I double click on this now, let me close this down because I don't actually want this, but if I double click on the one that we created, it brings up a little editor, which is basically the form builder. Now this, there you see, does that form look familiar? Yes, it should look familiar because it's the form that's on my website. So I created this form using this tool here where I could insert graphics and little snippets. I could put social sharing tabs into it, dividers. I can add my logo, and I did. I added a little graphic. I can lay it out how I want. Then I set a thank you page. As soon as people submit, then they get redirected somewhere. In my case, I send them to a page that tells them that they have a second page that they have to finish, check their email in order to opt in, right? That all makes sense. So I build it here. And what that creates is this code here. So I can view it as HTML code, as a JavaScript, as an HTML code. So this might, again, look a little bit complex, but if you're already doing your own stuff in WordPress, you can just install this as a snippet or as a piece of code on your WordPress page, and it will resolve into the form that we see there. So this is all these tools work together to finally deliver that form, which allows people to opt in on your mail list. So you build the campaign form here, or so you build the web form here, and then what happens after they do the web form? Well, there's a series of things that have to happen. The first is, because now I'm using InfusionSoft and I'm not in Aweber anymore, one thing I want to do is I want to know how people first got to know me. So I apply something called a tag. So with every contact that we have in InfusionSoft, there will now be a tag. And this tag here is just called this, website opt-in. So now if you opt in right now on my website and you hit enter and then you complete this process, when I look at your record, I can see, oh, they opted in at the website. So I know which of my assets people are coming in on. And I can apply multiple tags to people. And as we have interaction with people, we keep layering tags, which basically gives us a litany of our communication in our interaction with that person. It's incredibly valuable data that I can then use go forward, and I can understand what's productive for me, what's building community, what's building money into my pocket, and which of the activities that I've done. So this is the beginning of that process, the ability to identify and apply tags, which are little activities with each person that we have. Now, here we start to see some of the power so we can apply this tag, or we can apply an activity, and then we can do things like we can set different timers. We can say, now wait 5 minutes and do this, or wait 2 hours, or wait 2 weeks, or wait 2 years and then do this. So these are the sequences that we're building. If we go back, what happens is, and we follow the arrows, they come to the website, they log in, or so they enter the information in the form. As soon as they enter the information in the form, this tag is then applied, and then everybody goes to the same place after that. Let me just drag this over. Sorry, right there. There we go. Everybody goes to the same place. So this is as simple a sequence as it is. This is just an opt-in form. But everybody comes to here, and when they come to here and I double-click, what happens is a confirmation email is sent to them, and I open it up, and this is the confirmation email that is sent to each person, saying, thanking them for signing up for Dotto Tech News, telling them that it's a double opt-in process, so they have to click here to confirm that they are indeed want to receive my newsletter, and then it redirects them to a thank you page. That's it. So that's exactly what happens at this stage. And once that's done, we go back to the campaign, the confirmation email is done, the sequence is over, it's complete. But because I've got this set up, this final, sending the email out, etc., sent out, I can then take and create web forms in a variety of different places that all end up with the confirmation email, but tag them differently. So look at what I've got here. I've got from the website, from that main landing page of my website, from within one of my blogs, from YouTube. So if you click subscribe, when I put up the subscribe button, like right now, subscribe to my website, that leads you to a web page. That web page points to this sign up form, so that the tag that comes on here tells me that you came in through YouTube, that your first contact with me is from YouTube. Isn't it brilliant? You're starting to get the feel for it. Now, it's how we apply this stuff down line that's going to determine how successful we are, but the ability to create these relationships is what happens right here in the campaign builder. Similarly, if you sign in from a webinar, or if you come in from my Facebook page, I know now for the first time ever where people are signing up. So already my investment in Infusionsoft today is starting to work out. So I'm going to stop this story. Actually, before I stop the story, I'll go back and I'll show you one other style of campaign that I've got as well. And this is my Evernote course delivery, because this is important. So this one here is if you sign up and you purchase my course, again, you've come in from a PayPal at that point there because you made a purchase. Again, we have a web form that happens, which is, or sorry, it sends you to a web form, which is the enrollment form for Evernote Made Easy. It sends you the confirmation, and then after that, it starts this sequence. And if I double click on this, holy jump, and look at this. This is the sequence of emails that goes out to deliver the course. And it looks really complicated, but it's not. I tell people that they've started the course, I tag it, and I send them the first lesson. Then I wait at least 1 hour, which is the same as putting in 24 hours. And then at 3 a.m. on the next day, out goes lesson 2. And then I wait till 3 a.m. on the next day, and lesson 3 goes out. Does this make sense? Do you see what's happening here? And so this is how you can build a sequence where you can have weights and timing. And you can also, if you choose to, gate it differently rather than waiting for time. But if somebody clicks on this link, wait till tomorrow and then send them the next thing saying, I know you read this email, or I know you watched this video. Now you're looking at the next video. It's a very powerful tool. And look here, it gives us feedback as soon as we're in here. Since we're in the performance side, in the performance side, we can see how many people have signed up in the last, actually I just set this up today. So in the last day, 2 people have signed up for the course and gone through this process. That's how many in the last 24 hours. But soon, because within a month or so, I'll see a much higher number here. So I'll see exactly how many people have filled out this form. Isn't that cool? So what I had to do, the process that I had to do for this stage of the enrollment in setting up Infusionsoft is, first of all, I had to first of all create the first sequences. I had to create I started it all out by creating this sequence here, and they will help you with this sequence. They will help you create the sequence, and they will actually build it for you if you choose. But I had to build this Dotto Tech news opt-in, which was my main form, and I had to build this sequence first, just the top one, not the rest of them, just the top one there. I built that sequence, and then I had to go into my WordPress account, and I had to go into my website, and I had to find every instance of the opt-in form, every unique opt-in form, and I had to rebuild it pointing towards Aweber. Pointing not towards Aweber, excuse me, anymore, but now pointing towards Infusionsoft. But this took me a good day to go through. And I didn't just find all of these links here. I had to go into every single one of my posts and change out this particular form here. And then I had to find every place as well that I had other forms, built those other campaigns. And I had to find, for instance, if we go to my Facebook page, let's just go over here and let's go to Facebook. And if we go to my Facebook page, the Dotto Tech page on Facebook, I had to find, let me just go to Dotto Tech, and I will very quickly show you here. Oopsie. We go Dotto Tech. And if you visit my page at Dotto Tech, there are a couple of apps to get my free Inbox Zero course or my old webinar on 7 Powerhouse Productivity Apps, which I should probably update. If you click on any of those, it actually sends you to a web page, which is an app inside of Facebook. I had to find the links in these apps. I had to kind of go back into my Wayback Machine and find these forms here and then redirect those towards Infusionsoft. And so I did all of that. And then if we take a look at my Aweber account, is now I've done this for a few days, and you see I have no new subscribers today, so I keep an eagle eye on this list. So I moved everybody out of the list. You can see there's almost nobody left except some of my courses that I'm still delivering people were in the middle of the sequence. But you can see that there's nobody new subscribed today. I found a couple of forms yesterday where people could still get in, so I changed those, but today there's no. So once I've got 5 or 6 days consecutive of 0 subscribers in Aweber, I know that I can start to turn off the Aweber account because nobody is coming there anymore. So that's the beginning of the enrollment in Infusionsoft. Way more detail than I thought I'd go into, but I find it fascinating, and I think you might too if it's something that you need to migrate to in your business. So today's module about growing your building your YouTube channel is really all about community management, putting tools in place. This business that I'm going to be going through with Aweber, converting from Aweber into Infusionsoft, is probably going to take me the better part of another week or two. I want all of these systems to be in place as quickly as possible, because it's kind of now the foundation for Dotto Tech moving forward. And by the time that the year turns over in 2015, I've got some plans that I want to put into place that are really going to help my brand and help my business venture move forward. And so all of these pieces need to be in place by then. Wow, I've talked a lot. I hope you found this interesting. There's 3 ways to stay in touch with us. Of course, you can sign up you subscribe to this channel, which is an awesome thing to do. If you sign up for our newsletter, you're not going to be going to the old Aweber forum. You're going to be experiencing the the interaction that I just showed you. If you sign up using that subscription link, will end up in this sequence right here, in my YouTube sequence. So please subscribe to our newsletter. That would be just awesome. And also, if you are interested in learning a little bit more about the Patreon community, about how we've developed, it's almost like a membership site. There's perks that are included. If you sign up as a $10 patron in Patreon, you get access to all of our productivity courses, for example, which we sell for $97 each. So there's some really nice perks to you supporting us, and we appreciate you being a part of that community. I appreciate you regardless of which of my communities you're a part of. The fact that you've stuck around this long in the video, I give you much thanks. That's it for today. I'm Steve Dotto. Till next time, have fun storming a castle.